Hi, I'm Corrie Carter, and for my multimedia project, I am going to be doing a tutorial on how to do a knotless box braid, and also explain to you the history on box braids and other protective styles that are meant to protect African American hair. So first, to start off, you can see that my hair is already parted. What comb I do recommend is using a rat tail comb, which is just combs that have points at the end like this. And you just use that to part however you want. I did part it in a rectangle look. Oh, that was just oil that just came off the comb. My hair is already oiled down, which I recommend if your hair is not oiled, for you to oil your hair. Make sure it's moisturized. You're also gonna need a brush, your favorite jam, whatever jam you like to use. I'm using Less Jam, which is a popular one. Let me show you the consistency of it for people that don't know. That's what it looks like. What I want to make sure you do is make sure your hair is detangled and that it's brushed. Even if it is in its curly state, make sure your hair is brushed. And the whole point of protective styles for African Americans is to protect your hair and to protect your ends and to help promote hair growth. The tighter the coil is in your hair, or the curl is in your hair, the more fragile your hair is. So that's why African Americans use protective styles such as braids, weaves, and other hairstyles like that to help protect their natural hair and their ends, and wigs and stuff. And what you're also going to need is your braiding hair. For braiding hair, you want to make sure that the hair color matches yours. And that's what I have. I have a 1B and 27, I think it is. It's ombre, meaning that the colors are mixed. 1B just means black, and the 27 just means like a light brown. And as you can see, my hair at the root is black, and then I did have it dyed light brown. So yeah, now let me show you guys how to start. So what we're first going to want to do is take the gel. Here I'm just taking the gel. I'm just scraping the piece that I did grab up previously, like so. And we're just taking it and we're putting it on our roots, all around the root of our hair, like so. The whole point of using gel is to make sure your hair is slicked down to give a neater and nicer look. Oh, and just so you guys know, the difference between knotless box braids and why it's called a knotless box braid is because it doesn't have the knot at the root that you usually have in a regular box braid that you get from the braiding hair when you first start off. It's just a different way that you start off so that you don't have the root. At the root, you don't have that huge knot. I'm going to put pictures up too so you guys can see the difference between a knotless and a regular box braid. So now I'm just gelling around, still making sure that everything is going to be straight and slick when I start braiding. What I also like to do is put the gel at my ends so that when I braid, my ends won't poke out. You see how that's looking? That's what I like to see. Make sure your whole hair is smoothed down, but don't put too much because you don't want excess buildup in your hair. So first what we're going to do when we want to start up our knotless box braid is first split this section into 3 so you can start off a regular braid. This is not a braiding tutorial. This is just to show you how to do a knotless box braid, so you should already need to know how to braid before you start watching. That's a skill that you need to know. So I'm just starting off it as if I was just braiding normally, which I am right now. I'm just braiding normally. And I'm just going to do like a few braids, a few rotations, as I like to call it. You guys can see how much I have done yet right now. And then you want to add your hair in. I know you did not just see how I did that, but I can show you again in a second. For your knotless box braid. You want to grab a decent sized piece of braiding hair that matches up with the size of your hair that you're trying to add. And let me see how I can say this. But here we have our 3 pieces. This one is more of the outcast, and these 2 are more connected into each other right now as we're braiding. And all I'm going to do, we're not messing with the outcast right now. Outcast is staying out of the way. But we're taking these 2 that are connected right now to each other and putting the braiding hair right on it. I haven't done anything to it. I just put the braiding hair right on it. See, here's the braiding hair that I just added, and I literally just, I'm holding it together with this middle finger right here. Then I'm bringing the outcast inside, and we're just going to keep braiding normally. And that is how you make a sleek braid. The main goal with knotless braids is to make it look as natural as possible. You see how this just looks like my normal hair being braided, as in no weave or extensions are added to my hair right now. And all you do is you keep going on with the braid and adding more and more hair to it as needed. And you also want to make sure you keep your hair looking nice and neat, and that you have no hair coming out of the braids. There we go. That is how you do a knotless box braid. Make sure it's nice and neat, no hair coming out of the braids. Make sure at the root it's nice and clean too, without the knot, which is the whole purpose. You see how it's flat on my head? And that is how you do a knotless box braid. And you want to remember to make sure you tuck in your ends, because that's the whole point of protective hairstyles. Protect your ends and to have less manipulation on your hair so it can promote hair growth and less damage to your hair. See? And now you just keep adding more hair to the desired length that you want. I'm just going to keep braiding down. And while I'm doing this right now, I could tell you a little bit of history behind protective styles for African American women in the United States, and days heading all the way back to Africans and before the colonization and stuff like that. Just like the past of braids and how braids have been in African American culture for a long time. And we can start hairstyles and braids all the way dating back in Africa. It didn't just start when slavery started. Braids have been a hairstyle in the African community for a while, and it has grown and moved into the United States, into African Americans. But more people know it for how it is represented in the United States back when enslaved African Americans wore braids for like different messages and for different ways to teleport foods and goods and such across the Atlantic when they were getting transported to the United States. But yeah, hair does have a big history with Africans and African Americans and Black people, because it's a story and it's a way to show what you've been through, and it shows your heritage. So that's why protective hairstyles and braids and such are so important in the African American community. So as you can see with the braid, there's no knot. It's sleek, flat, and it matches my hair color too, so that's good. But yep, that's how you do a knotless box braid. Thank you.